This might look like a normal 9V battery, but inside it is hiding some seriously outdated tech. So today I'm ripping it apart and rebuilding this classic shell into a modern, rechargeable lithium power cell. Let's break the factory seal first. I start by carefully bending back the metal crimps at the bottom, first with a utility knife, then switching to a small flathead screwdriver for more leverage. Finally, I can pry out the bottom plate. It's a bit of a destructive process, but it came out about as clean as it can get. Inside, it's actually pretty simple. A standard 9V battery is just a 6 1.5V alkyne cells connected in series. Depending on the brand, you might also find a pouch cell design inside, where the chemistry is packed into flat, stacked layers instead of tiny cylinders. It's basically a tiny battery pack pretending to be one single unit. Either way, now I see how much tech we can actually fit in here. For this project, I only need the very top part, the main battery contacts. Everything else, from the cells to the connection tabs, is officially retired. These are the components I'm keeping: the bottom plate, the metal shell, and the top terminals. The heart of this build is an adjustable step-up charging module. It is a tiny, versatile DC-DC converter that I found online just for $1. You can even choose between micro USB or USB-C input options, depending on what you prefer. I leave links to this module and all the other components I use in this build in case you want to pick them up yourself. First step, removing the micro USB port. For this, I used a hot air soldering station. I wanted one for a long time, and this project was the perfect excuse to finally get one. Doing this with a regular soldering iron would have been tricky. Surprisingly, these hot air stations are quite affordable now. You can get a good quality machine that really improves your workflow whenever soldering or hot air is involved. Highly recommended. Modifying this off-the-shelf module works, but it is definitely not the cleanest way. If you want to take a project like this in the next level, PCBWay is the place to go. While they're famous for high-quality PCBs, they've evolved in the full-scale manufacturing powerhouse. If your project needs more than just a circuit board, you can take advantage of their CNC machining for high-precision metal parts or injection molding for larger production runs. They even offer advanced 3D printing in massive variety of materials. You're not limited to just basic plastics. They can print in industrial-grade resins, nylon, and even high-strength metals. Whether you need a single prototype or complete mechanical assembly, they have the technology to handle complex geometries that are impossible to make by hand. Check the link in the description to see everything PCBWay can create for you. I made a quick test fit to estimate exactly where the USB port will sit inside the casing. Marking a cutout this small is tricky, but I found a neat trick. I dipped the connector into some stamp ink to coat the edges, then pressed it onto a piece of clear sticker and transferred it to the metal case. Now I have perfectly accurate cutting lines, way better than guessing and potentially ruining the finish. It's a very small detail, but it's absolutely essential for this specific build. I used a Dremel with a round diamond bit to rough out the opening. It looks a bit messy at first, but after some cleanup with a needle file, the fit is seamless. It almost looks like it was meant to be here from the factory. Now I soldered the USB port back onto the board, just in a different orientation. Since the pads no longer align, I'm using thin silicone wires to restore the connection. Not gonna lie, shaky hands didn't help here, but the connections turned out solid and low profile enough to fit. Next, I soldered 2 wires to the battery terminals, which will eventually connect to the module's voltage output to power up anything connected to the battery. For power, I'm using a slim 3.7V 600 mAh lithium polymer rechargeable battery. It is compact enough to fit neatly inside the battery shell while still leaving a bit of room to work with. It also comes with built-in protection circuitry, which means it's much safer and easier to integrate into projects like this. I'm also adding this tiny slide switch. The switch completely breaks the circuit when not in use. Since the step-up converter has an ultra-small idle current draw, this prevents the battery from draining while it's sitting on a shelf. With everything wired up, it is time to calibrate the output. I turned the potentiometer until the multimeter hits exactly 9V. These tiny trim pots are incredibly sensitive, and dialing it in definitely tested my patience. Switch off, 0 power draw. Switch on, and the system comes to life. Plugging USB, and the charging circuit kicks in with a tiny red LED serving as a status indicator. To make the LED visible from the outside, I'm using a single fiber optic strand, a drop of CA glue at the base, and the light travels perfectly to the tip. It's a clean way to route an indicator outside the metal housing without a physical LED resoldering. Some black electric tape prevents light bleeding inside the case. Then I stack the components using double-sided foam tape. It keeps everything tight, organized, and acts as a necessary layer of electrical insulation between the parts. Now to pack it all back in. Top cap first, then the electronics assembly. I just have to carefully guide the fiber optics through the pilot hole I drilled earlier. To make the build permanent, I'm using 5 minutes epoxy. It flows into the gaps and cures into a solid block, ensuring the internals won't shift or rattle even if the battery is dropped or shaken. I set the bottom connector in place with a bit of CA glue, then reinforce the switch from the inside with a decent amount of hot glue. Once it hardens, the whole thing becomes one solid, durable unit. Last step, recrimping the metal case. I used rubber plier grips to avoid scratching the paint. The goal was to preserve that original factory look, so applying slow, steady pressure while working around the edges really paid off here. And the result? You can barely tell it's been modified. Except of course that one subtle USB port and the switch on the bottom. The switch feels tactile and clean. Charging works exactly as intended. Just plug it in, and the internal LED does its job to let you know it's filling up. And most importantly, the 9 volts output is rock steady. It actually provides a much more consistent voltage through its entire cycle than a standard alkaline battery ever could. I've got a few different devices in the workshop that runs on 9-volt batteries, but the multimeter was the most convenient for the quick diagnostic check. And as you can see, no surprises here. The battery voltage is spot on, so everything works perfectly. So was it worth it? From a financial standpoint, absolutely not. I spent more on tools and coffee for this build than a life supply of 9-volt batteries will cost. But from maker's perspective, I'd do it again in a heartbeat. This build wasn't about saving money or even being practical. It's about taking a design icon that's been stuck in the past for decades and forcing it into the modern world. It's no longer just a power source. It's a tiny engineering challenge that I actually managed to solve. It's a reminder that even the simplest objects we take for granted can be reinvented if you are stubborn enough. I'm curious to see where you take this next. What else is sitting in our drawers that deserves a modern lithium upgrade? Drop your wildest ideas in the comments below, because I actually read them for inspiration. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.